Hello and welcome into the newest episode of Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella. Spring has sprung, which means allergy season is here. Season prediction time is now upon us as well. And the latest from the NFL annual meeting and the upcoming NFL draft is here for us to dive into. Before we get started, make sure you go down and subscribe for our channel, get into the comments, and let us know the next moves the Patriots have to make to ensure that they have a potential playoff season this year. And if you like what you hear, make sure you go back and check out our other episodes to get up to date on everything going on in Foxborough. We start looking at that win-loss prediction, and we did it a few weeks ago, but now after a flurry of moves by the New England Patriots and what's being lauded as one of the top free agent classes here in the NFL, among several others, but obviously when you spend the most money, you're going to be in that conversation. Patriots still have more to spend and more moves to make, but could the playoffs be a path forward with the roster as currently constructed? Looking at the NFL schedule, which has not been fully released yet, but home and away opponents are out. So if we quickly go through and being very honest about these assessments, looking at the Atlanta Falcons, and this will go home first. Atlanta Falcons at home. Let's say that's a loss based upon where the Falcons were last year and where the Patriots were. The Bills, loss. Panthers, we can say win. Cleveland Browns picking in front of the Patriots, we'll say at number 2. Put that in as a win. Miami Dolphins coming up to Gillette, we'll even put that in as a win. New York Giants coming in. New York Jets, Las Vegas Raiders. I feel fairly confident in putting all of those as wins. Pittsburgh Steelers coming in, loss. Mike Tomlin finds a way to get it done every year. Why count against him now? Looking at the away schedule, the Ravens, the Bills, the Bengals, and the Dolphins, where you always struggle, look like all losses. Going to play at the Saints, difficult. With a first-year head coach and lots of questions around what that quarterback and offense entirely might look like, you can say that could be a win. Again, going to play against the Jets, Aaron Glenn is a first-year head coach. What does Justin Fields do against this defense suddenly built by Mike Vrabel that looks very good? Put it in as a win. Going to the NFC South champion Tampa Bay Bucks, loss. And again, against the Tennessee Titans, the team that's picking number 1 overall and Mike Vrabel's former team, win. Put that all together, and that is a 9-win season by the New England Patriots. I think, yes, you can make some conversation around, is Carolina a lot better than they were? Are the Jets better by association of not having Aaron Rodgers there? You could also go on the flip side and say, the Falcons coming in with Michael Penix and the Steelers now without having a quarterback currently as constructed. Or even looking at, the Dolphins away, or looking at the Buccaneers and being able to win those games. That's a potential 11-win season as currently constructed. Forget about what they're doing in the draft. Now, again, all of this does, for me, hinge on what happens at left tackle. I think, again, they have to find a stopgap and will find a draft-eligible player there as well. But again, things are shaping up very well for the New England Patriots. And I think that there is a path to the playoffs should they continue on the path that they are currently in free agency and hopefully continue in the NFL draft. Looking quickly at the NFL meetings, the annual meeting that took place here over the weekend. Obviously, Mike Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, and the rest of the contingent down in Florida for those meetings, and looking at it again, what kind of came from Mike Vrabel and what stood out the most from those meetings. And the big ones that we've kind of circled on our calendar is the big decisions around rule changes and where the Patriots might be with the rest of the league, especially the Green Bay Packers, looking at the push-tush. And is that legal? And yes, it is the tush-push, push-tush, brotherly shove, however you want to say it. There's a discussion of should it be banned, should it not. I'm not going to give an opinion on the matter right now, but those behind the scenes are saying that he's spoken passionately about it, and Vrabel would not actually be behind a ban to that play. Again, I don't expect any ruling to come up on it. Diana Rossini has commented recently on it getting another push to be back in band again, but I think we're a ways off from that coming. Also looking at holding joint practices for the Patriots and looking like there could be two different teams that the Patriots would jump in with. They were with the Philadelphia Eagles last season, so we actually had a chance to get an early look at the eventual Super Bowl champions. And, A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts were in early season form even back in August at that time. And it would be a home series with the Washington Commanders and then an away series with the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing official here. It does require NFL approval. The practice could marry up with their preseason games and scheduling. And the league generally does grant at least one request, and so expect one of those to come to fruition, with two potentially being on the table. Additionally, from those meetings, it looks like the Patriots are expected to actually be home week 1. Again, we do not know the opponents yet, but looking like they will kick off the season at Gillette. Of the preseason, I should say, and then on the road for weeks 2 and 3. So get to see this newest iteration of the Patriots at home before going on the road for 2 of those games, and potentially getting that early look at the Commanders, and then, if not, getting a joint practice with the Vikings on the road. Finally, Mike Vrabel was seen a lot with super agent Drew Rosenhaus. Now, who does that line up with? You see a lot of names, whether that's Tyreek Hill or a lot of the high-profile candidates that Drew represents. At the very least, it's good to see Mike playing the game here a little bit, get the FaceTime, open the doors, keep the relations fluid. So whether it's going to be one of our own free agents or somebody else that could either be gotten through a trade or any other way in free agency, that is set to go, that he's on speed dial. And yes, you're going to have to pay a little extra. Guess what? The Patriots still have $60 million in cap space. And more than likely, by the time they get through everything with their own free agents, filling their holes and getting through the NFL draft and everybody signed, there probably still could be upwards of $28 million still on the books to be shelled out. So let's not let relationships stop the Patriots from getting anything done. Also looking at the NFL draft, Titans head coach Ryan Callahan at his meetings had some interesting comments in his own right, talking about what the top 4 of the NFL draft looked like. And again, we have said that the key to this draft is Shedeur Sanders and having him go in the top 3, so one of those players gets down to the Patriots at 4. Brian Callahan's direct quote, when asked what the Titans would do at number 1, he said, "I think it's a short list, number 1 for sure. It's all the guys that I think are worthy of it between," and he started with Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, and Abdul Carter. Now, again, top 3, I think we can all be very clear and upfront that it is Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, and Cam Ward is the best of the quarterbacks and one QB needy team coming up at that point. It's whether Shedeur Sanders leapfrogs Hunter or Abdul Carter and allows the Patriots to get one of those players instead of being at 4 and suddenly hamstrung with what they're able to do, because there's a lot of teams that could just say, we'll let it ride and see if Sanders would fall to us, and potentially not giving up something for that. At least it's good to hear Brian Callahan speak from a position of power and say, look, there's a top 4. They didn't come out and say it's Cam Ward. They didn't come out and say it's a quarterback. They at least said, hey, these are the 4. And hopefully now everyone else takes notice and says, all right, we need to actually trade up with the Patriots if we want that quarterback, which potentially could let New England stockpile some extra draft assets and get them to a place where you could be more successful playing out the draft string and having hopefully more success as a team in 2025. One of the options, should that not come to fruition, and say if Shedeur Sanders is still there at 4 and nobody's picking up the phone, nobody's interested in actually going and giving a ton to get Shedeur Sanders, the Patriots will have to make a selection at pick number 4. And if the decision is made that Mason Graham is too light, he's smaller than he checked in at, if Will Campbell is not the selection at left tackle, you see more of a guard, if Armand Membu is more of a right tackle than a left tackle, if all of these things start to add up, if Will Johnson is too redundant at quarterback, cornerback, excuse me, if Jalen Walker is too redundant at the edge spot. Could you look at taking what is the best available in Ashton Jeanty at number 4 and just saying, we're going to Bijan Robinson type guy. We're going to stick him back there. It's going to help Drake May more than anything else. And we'll figure out the rest of it as we go. You get a stopgap tackle at left tackle in Tyron Smith or somebody else. Jedrick Will's still available as well. And just fill the room with talent. It is more and more of a possibility. I did not think it was one when we started this 2 months ago, but it is becoming more and more like something we at least need to talk about. And there's a current member of the New England Patriots that is currently talking about it. Wide receiver Kendrick Bourne has been all over social media with Ashton Jeanty, training with him, now doing TikTok videos and dances with him. And Kendrick has had no problem putting himself out there and trying to recruit everyone to come to the New England Patriots, whether that be Cooper Kupp and probably several of the other names we've seen out there. Now, again, those didn't come to fruition. Deebo Samuel's not here. Any of the 49ers that he played with are not here. But again, now this is something that at least there's smoke, there could be fire. Not saying that there is fire, but we're now seeing a current New England Patriots player training with a top pick in the draft. A New England Patriots editor actually predicting that Ashton Jeanty could be the number 4 overall pick to the Patriots. There could actually be some flames behind some of this smoke and something we start to need to pay attention to, because the New England Patriots could look drastically different on offense than they do here on April 1st. Again, thank you for tuning in for Pat's Latest. We'll be back with more coming out from the New England Patriots as we get it. Make sure you go down and subscribe for our channel. Get into our comments and let us know who the Patriots need to sign before the draft and who they're after in the draft. And go back and check out our old episodes. Fight on, Foxborough.